Man, oh man. The Kansas City Chiefs have an opportunity to do something no NFL team has ever done before. To three-peat in the Super Bowl. No team has ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. Maybe 3 straight championships. I believe the Packers did that before the Super Bowl was even a thing. Maybe some other teams did that as well. I don't know. I don't care. I only care about the Super Bowl era. That hasn't happened. The Kansas City Chiefs have an opportunity to be the first team ever to do so. But it is a long time from when they won it last time to when they can win it again next February in 2025. All right, it's going to be a long year. We've got a lot of things to get through. We've got the offseason, which is pretty much wrapped up at this point. You know, some pieces are moving here and there. We've got the draft coming up here soon. We got training camp. We got preseason. We've got a 17-game regular season. And then if they have to play in the wild card or at least the divisional and the conference championships before they can even get to the Super Bowl next year. All right, they've got a lot to go. And they've already made some moves because this team has to get better. I don't think the team, as is, will win another championship because we got to think about what is going on. The teams are going to keep getting better. Competition is going to keep getting better. The Niners are going to be more experienced, even though they lost some key pieces themselves, such as Eric Armstead. That's a huge loss. But let's see, who else? The Bengals are going to be back in action, okay? They're going to have Joey B. They buffed their offensive line once again. T. Higgins is still there for right now. We'll see what happens. The draft is going to change a lot of things as well. And we just got to find out what's going to happen. But the Chiefs have to improve. It wasn't a pretty Super Bowl run for them either. Okay, this team did not start off good. They started off with a Week 1 loss to the Detroit Lions. They had a lot of big games in between where they looked not that great, including a dropped touchdown by MVS against the Eagles, which kind of led them on a slippery slope. They lost like 3 out of 4 games there. And it was a bad look. It was a bad look. Obviously, they figured it out in the playoffs. And then they went on a run, obviously capping it off with a Super Bowl championship. But again, long time in between. We got a full year in between last Super Bowl and this next Super Bowl, okay? Big things. Big things have to change. And they already started making moves, right? They were making moves as soon as that Super Bowl had been won. They were on the Super Bowl platform or whatever you want to call it. And Patrick Mahomes, we've seen the audio, we've seen the video that says Patrick is dapping up Chris Jones and says, hey, you ain't going nowhere, big dog. You ain't going nowhere, big dog. Come on, big dog. You're staying here. And, of course, they extended Chris Jones. He is now on a long-term contract. He is going to be messing things up for opposing offenses in Kansas City still for the next few years. He's a good pass rusher from the middle. He's also a great plug in the hole for the run game as well. So, and Chris Jones is an asset that they definitely had to bring back, and that's one they obviously focused on making it their top priority, wasting no time to get that deal done. Then they place a franchise tag on L'Jarius Sneed, saying, hey, dog, you're not going nowhere. We need you. All right, L'Jarius Sneed coming off of basically an all-pro year. I mean, he played an amazing defense for the Kansas City Chiefs, was a huge lockdown part of that Chiefs defense that led the league in fewest points per game. So, hey, that was a big piece as well. But that's not where his story ends, and we'll get to that in just a second. But they also released Valdez-Scantling, all right, MVS, which came as a little bit of a shock to me, though he did not have a great regular season. A lot of ran the wrong route a couple times, a lot of drop balls, including that one we mentioned against the Eagles. But in the playoffs, he really put it together. He had a good playoff run. So this was a little bit surprising to me that they let him go after that Super Bowl run. And I think it was surprising to a lot of folks that he was released before Kadarius Toney was. Okay? And the money just doesn't make sense. There's going to be a little bit more dead space with Kadarius Toney, so I can kind of understand that part. But now the Chiefs are kind of without weapons. All right? They have Rashee Rice, who didn't look good at the beginning of the season, but he kind of put it together towards the end, which is typical of rookies, right? We expect that. And now Rashee Rice, we expect to have an even better season this year. Obviously, they still have Travis Kelce, who didn't have his best season ever, but it wasn't horrible either. I don't think he was the best tight end like the NFL said he was, putting him on the first team All-Pro. I think George Kittle was a little bit better, and Travis was probably a second or maybe third. Sam Laporta had a really good season as well. I don't know, but they're still going to be there. They still got a few weapons. Mecole Hardman, game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl in overtime. He's going to be back. But I still think they need a few more weapons now that they released MVS, and you just can't count on Kadarius Toney. So what did they do? They went out in free agency and signed Marquise Hollywood Brown from the Arizona Cardinals. One of Kyler Murray's favorite targets is now going to be the speedster in KC, with on the other side of Mecole Hardman, and now he's going to try and do the Tyreek kind of thing. Obviously, he's not as good as Tyreek Hill is. I'm not trying to make that comparison, but the speed is comparable, right? The long bombs, all right. He's gonna be the best receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, unless you want to count Travis Kelce as a receiver. But I think as a wide receiver, he will be wide receiver 1. And Mecole Hardman, Rashee Rice are gonna have great seasons as a 2 and 3 as well. Mecole Hardman is just better suited for a slot. Rashee Rice is honestly better suited for a slot. Honestly, Hollywood Brown is also better for a slot. But they're going to be able to put pieces here and there, and they're going to figure it out on offense. It's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid still, okay? I still have no doubts. Travis Kelce's still there. That offense is still going to be good. Whatever it has to be, it's going to be better than last season because Marquise Hollywood Brown is a better receiver than anybody they had on the roster last season. I truly believe that. So that was a huge upgrade for the Chiefs, and I think that's going to be a big piece. Though I think they could grab another wide receiver in the upcoming draft, whether it's a late Keon Coleman falls to them, Brian Thomas, lad from Frank, I'm forgetting his last name right now, lad from Georgia, or even in the second round, they maybe grab a Jalen Polk, okay, if he's still available. There's options at wide receiver. They can still go get more weapons for the team, or a Tez Walker. There's going to be options at wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs in the draft as well. But now we have a big bomb that dropped on us yesterday. L'Jarius Sneed gets traded to the Tennessee Titans for just a third-round pick next season. Not even this year, but next season. They swapped seventh-round picks this season. Who cares, all right? Who cares? So L'Jarius Sneed got franchise tagged about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months. And I don't know what those conversations behind closed door must have been, but he wasn't happy, obviously. Because there's no way the Kansas City Chiefs, who are trying to three-peat this season for the first time in NFL history, they're trying to three-peat, would give up L'Jarius Sneed for just a third-round pick in a future year. Okay, that just doesn't make sense. So L'Jarius Sneed must have been upset, must have requested a trade. Obviously, there wasn't a big breakout news about it, okay? They just handled it internally and traded him to the Tennessee Titans. Now L'Jarius Sneed is going to get a new contract. I don't know the numbers on that quite yet, but it must be some better deal for L'Jarius Sneed. I don't personally understand it, but that must be what happened. Because if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going all in. I'm pushing all chips to the table on a three-peat because I want to go down in NFL history as one of the only teams to ever three-peat. Well, as the first and only currently team to three-peat. Okay, that I'm all chips center table. I'm not even looking at my cards. Okay, I'm not even flipping them. Just pushing all the chips to the table, saying I'm doing whatever I gotta do. So even if I gotta pay L'Jarius Sneed a top 3 quarterback salary with this franchise tag, and I only get him for 1 year, so be it. So be it. I'm going all in. I don't care if I lose him for nothing next year. A third-round pick does not matter to me. A future third-round pick does not matter to me when I'm trying to three-peat. And on the flip side, if I'm L'Jarius Sneed, money doesn't matter as much to me. Again, the franchise tag, you get paid the average of the top 3 of your position. So it's basically like you're the second and a half paid quarterback or cornerback. Okay, that's still good money. And no, it's not the security he wants. It's not the contract he wants, I'm sure. If I'm going for a three-peat, I'm all for it. I'll take the pay cut. If that's what it is, which is honestly still a yearly salary more than what he was making. But it's not what he thinks he deserves, which is cool. I understand that. I get he thinks he's worth money. And I'm all for a brother going and making it back. Okay? I think athletes should go get what they think they deserve, even if that means switching teams. But if I'm L'Jarius Sneed and I just won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, and I could go win a third Super Bowl, yeah, I want to be a part of that team. I would pay millions of dollars to go be a part of that team. All right, that's sick. That is so cool. So yes, if I'm L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know. The Tennessee Titans are happy, obviously, giving up a third-round pick for L'Jarius Sneed, a top cornerback in this league. Yeah, good for them. Good for them. I don't know what the Titans are really doing. They signed Calvin Ridley. Will Levis is still the quarterback. I still don't think the Titans are going to be competitive. So, good for L'Jarius, I guess. But, yeah, I'm staying in KC myself. So, we'll see. We'll see what the Kansas City Chiefs decide to do. Maybe they go make a trade for a cornerback. Maybe they go find one in free agency still. I don't know who the top corners are still available. But you could also go to the draft. Maybe you grab a Kool-Aid McKinstry at 32 if he's still available. Okay? Maybe you grab a Nate Wiggins. I don't know. We'll see. There's still a lot of movement that needs to be had. We still got a long time until football kicks off again in August. Preseason football kicks off in August, but we're starting in September. Okay, long road until then, and a longer road till the Super Bowl. We got to watch out for injuries on this Chiefs team, but this is the story of the NFL. Can the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat for the very first time in NFL history? And they're going to do everything in their power that they can. All right, like I said, all chips being pushed to the table. What moves are they going to make? And what moves do they need to make sure that they win this third one? Because there's going to be some other guys. All right, the Bills are still around. Even though they lost a lot this offseason, the Bills are still going to be there. The Bengals are coming back. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are just getting better. Okay, they added Derrick Henry, for goodness sake. All right? The Chiefs got a long road ahead of them. But what do you think? Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs can do it? And what moves do you think they need to make to shore up a Super Bowl victory for the three-peat? Let me know. I'm here for it.